So here we are in the kitchen where all the good things are cooked. This is my lovely charger. Let's unhide the devices. All right, we have our iPhone, our laptop, iPad, headphones, whatever. Great. Now, first thing, we need to create the cable, right? So Shift A, curve, Bezier curve, scale it down, edit it. Then once you're happy with your shape, let's give it some depth. And to avoid this step in here, let's increase the resolution, just like that. Great, but I'm gonna delete it because I already have the one I used in the render. Now for the cool trick, I'll show you how to make the curve grow or shrink. We come here in curve settings, scroll down, and we find these two settings under start and end mapping, factor start and end. If we adjust the end, we get the curve shrinking from the end all the way back to the start of the curve. All right, we can animate this, of course. 0 in the start, 1 in the end here, and we get something like this. All right, I'll keep this basic animation for now. And let's import the USB head. Here it is. Okay, now how do we make this USB head follow the curve? Let's come here to constraints and add a follow path constraint. Okay, select the curve, and you notice the head has disappeared. Well, fear not, because you just have to set the location coordinates to 0, both X, Y, Z. Just hold and drag, press 0, and we get the head here. All right, good. Now let's look at these settings. We notice that if we play with offset, the head doesn't follow the curve and it's not looking where it should. So click follow curve. I'd also like to select fixed position. Let's see how it looks like now. All right, it's following the curve perfectly. Very nice. We'll figure out how to make it enter the port properly as well. Now let's make it follow the curve growth, So to do that, the only way that there is right now is to manually keyframe it. I'll start with adding keyframes at the exact same time. So 0 here, and on the last frame, I give it 1, or close enough. Hold shift to make finer adjustments. Okay. Now, if we play this animation, we'll notice that the head isn't exactly following the curve. Sometimes they disconnect, they detach, as you see here. So the only solution for that is to do micro adjustments until they're properly synced. All right. So whenever you notice that they're separating, just animate it. All right, let's see. Okay, it looks good enough. Now, that's actually the simplest way to animate USB cables and such. No need to do anything crazy. Keep it simple. All right, now let's make the head look straight into the port. To do that, you see this null here. This null is exactly at the center of the USB port. The way I did that was I selected the port, got in edit mode. I selected this face here. I pressed Shift S, cursor to selected, to have a cursor there. Then I created an empty. I preferred sphere here. Then I right clicked, snap, selection to cursor, and we get the null on the cursor here. We have to scale it down just like this. So basically that's how I got it. I'm gonna delete it because I already have it. All right, what do we use this for? We have to go back to the USB head and add a constraint. That constraint is going to be track to. We want the USB to look straight into this null here. So we're going to add track to constraint and select the empty. But the head is not happy. It's not willing to look at it just yet. We have to make it do so by flicking through these axes till we find the good one, which is -X here in this case. All right. Now, if we go forward, we see that it goes straight in the port. Okay. Now we have the USB perfectly in the port. However, if we go back, we'll notice that the head always looks into the port now, which is not what we want. So to avoid that, we just have to animate the track to influence and make it 1 when the head is very close, just like here. and make it 0 when it's far enough. Alright, like that. Remember to keep adjusting your curve to close the gaps. Alright, it goes straight. I hope you can see that. It's very quick though. I don't have much time to refine the animation in this tutorial, but you get the idea. Alright, now let's move on to the next trick where we can learn how to animate the curve outside edit mode. Alright, but before that, you notice that when the camera zooms out, the cable changes. That's a trick you can use in your project where you can use the camera to your advantage to change things in the scene so you don't have to do cuts in edit or complicate things. So just like that. So curve 1 at the start, the camera zooms in, then when it pulls out, we see the second curve, and we use the close-up to make the transition. Alright, nifty trick. Okay, let's see how we can make the USB head affect the deformation of the curve here. So basically we want something like we do in edit mode like this, but to happen outside edit mode when we're moving our USB head in this case. Alright, the trick for that is to use hooks. So let's select the curve, go in the edit mode, select the point, and under control points, hooks, hook the new object. And you notice this star. Let's exit edit mode and let's select the star. G to move it, and voila, we notice that we can now deform the curve outside edit mode, which is great. And if this null is too big, we can select the curve, come to modifiers, and under object here we can change it to whatever we want. I'll just change it to the USB-C. I can delete it. Now if I move the USB, the cable should move with it. Let's see. Voila, nice. It's not quite a simulation, so you have to be careful from going extreme with it. For example, if we go too far, the illusion breaks and you have to add more points, more hooks and such to solve those problems. So this works perfect for what we need it for. Basically, we want the USB-C to get out of here, wait for the chargers to change, and then it comes back again. It does the job perfectly. Pretty simple, nothing too complicated here, but quite a useful trick. I've not seen anyone on YouTube do it this way. And before we conclude the tutorial, I want to show you the camera work here. I was able to animate the camera this way. I'm gonna turn off the cables just because they're distracting. I'll show you how I was able to animate the camera this way. So what I did, I created a circle around the charger like this. So I already have it. All right, this, and I told the camera to follow the path of this circle, so I can have this offset that controls the rotation around the charger, because the circle is around the charger. All right. Then track to, I had a track to constraint. Make the camera track the charger or this null here to tell the camera where to look exactly at any given moment. As you can see, if I move it around, the camera looks around. Yeah, you get it. And I have also added another track to constraint here, but that's not necessary. Okay, so that's it. The way I made the camera zoom in was just scaling down the curve like this. I scaled down the curve and moved it down a little. So that's how the camera work was. For the last part, how did I make these transformations? Well, I can do a tutorial on this, but I'm sure it's basic enough that it doesn't need one. So what I did was I just split the charger into several pieces. Okay, and I animated those this way, scaling down, and meanwhile scaling up the next charger size, and the same thing here as well. It will scale down while the other charger scales up. Right, just like that. Nothing too fancy, it could be better, but the camera was far enough, so no need to complicate things. So this was exactly how I made this.
Charge up to 4 devices at once with our 100-watt unit, or 3 with the 65, or charge 2 at once with our smallest 35-watt unit. Efficient and powerful.